Hello, Sheila back again with another tutorial. This time I'm going to show you how to increase stitches in the middle of a row. This is what I do when I'm doing sleeves or anything that the back or the front of a sweater. I usually knit the rib and then add a few extra stitches so that you get a tighter rib. With a few extra stitches on a sleeve saves you having you can do longer space between increasing on the sleeves, so up the sides of the sleeves. So I'm going to show you on the rib. I always do it on the wrong side, like which I showed you, which was the wrong side of the rib here, which is would be an odd number. So would say if you've done 9 rows or 11 rows or something like that. And I always increase on the knit stitch. What was it? So I'm going to increase on every knit stitch across here. And we'd start off the rib as normal because it's a purl stitch. And then to increase, we'd go into the knit stitch, the front of the knit stitch, the yarn over, through, and then go into the back of that same stitch. Then knit the purl stitch, and then increase again on the next knit stitch. Purl stitch into the front of the knit stitch, the yarn round the needle, bring it through, and then go into the back part of that stitch. To the purl stitch, the front of the knit stitch, the yarn round the needle, pull it through, take the needle into the back part of the stitch, which you can see there on my finger. The front first, and then through into the back. You purl into the front, knit that part of the stitch, and then go into the back of the stitch. Purl stitch, and into the back. Sorry, into the front first, and then into the back of the stitch. Purl stitch, into the front, knit that part, pull it through, and then go into the back stitch. Purl one, and into the last, into the front, yarn over, pull it through, and then put the needle into the back of the stitch and knit that. And there you have increased the number of stitches across that row. And I always do it on the wrong side. It's not as noticeable when you come to knit over there. And then if this was a sleeve, I'm changing to a 4mm needle now, and I'll knit across this row. the extra stitches sometimes a little bit tighter to get the needle through. And almost at the end of this row. And that's increasing in the middle of a ribbed row. You're there at the front, and that's the back. And that's, if you're doing a sleeve, that sometimes you might want a few extra stitches after the across the row, the last ribbed row, and that'll make the increasing up the sides. You won't have to do a small space. You can do a larger space between each increasing. And the next tutorial I'll show you how to increase the stitches on the sides for a sleeve. And I'll use this here, what I've already done to show that. So that's my tutorial for now. So give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll show you more when I do the next tutorial.